Okay, welcome to our extended version of our program where we talk about political potpourri. Alex, I know one of your favorite stories in the last few cycles was the fiasco around getting a date wrong. Tell us about it.
Well, it seems that CNN, much to the delight of President Trump, is having big issues on reading the dates on WikiLeaks emails. And so they came out with this bombshell report.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
I saw it on Twitter. They went nuclear, right?
Yeah, they went nuclear on the fact that all of a sudden WikiLeaks was feeding the Trump administration and Flynn and all these guys
before the public,
before the media, before anyone knew anything.
That's what they believed.
All these emails and all these secret documents that WikiLeaks hacked, along with the Russians, the whole narrative that they've been peddling, and it was sent on the 4th of September. And so CNN comes out with this bombshell, and they say, "We got him. We got him. We finally got him."
Trump to Russia via
Trump
WikiLeaks.
to Russia via WikiLeaks. They're feeding them hacked emails. This is it. It's over. But it wasn't really on the 4th of September. They didn't read.
Not only was this journalistic malpractice in what they did. I mean, multiple sources, more than one source, all across the board say that. I mean, this is, one has, when someone says the term fake news, this is exactly what they're doing.
No one checked. It was on the 14th of September.
But there's they don't want to, they don't want to completely come clean about how they came to that conclusion. They're just calling it a correction.
Of course.
They won't tell us the truth about their own reporting. And we're not talking about one, we're talking about multiple news outlets.
CNN, MSNBC, CBS.
Of course, because they know if they come out with their sources or however they came up with this, it will make them look even worse. So they want to hush the story up. They want everyone to just forget that it happened. But people that watch them won't forget.
Fake news.
Yes, it's exactly fake news over and over and over again. What's really happening is the top managers at CNN, at MSNBC, at other mainstream networks in the U.S., they're on a mission. They're on a mission to remove Trump from the Oval Office. And they will do anything and everything they can to bring media support.
And they'll destroy their own reputation in the process.
They're so blinded by what's going on. They're so emotionally vested that they're missing dates. They're mistaking the 4th of September for the 14th of September. They want to make this story true. They want to make the Trump-Russia collusion story true.
Really?
They claim that
Hoping
they had
against hope.
3 networks claim that they had multiple sources who all made the same mistake at the same time, the same unnamed sources. Glenn Greenwald in The Intercept has an excellent piece out debunking all of this, and he points out that this is not a unique case. He has a long, long list of all these boom Russiagate stories that have turned out to be fake news all across the cream of the crop of the Western media, and it doesn't stop. And that is a real problem for American democracy, is the way this narrative is being railroaded and falsely presented with then very quiet 17th page retractions and corrections, and the lies build and build.
I read this over a few hours before the program here at Buzzfeed, and I don't usually read Buzzfeed. And
not even the cat listicles?
You sent me this, and how secret talks with Russia to prevent election meddling collapsed by John Hudson. I really suggest viewers take a look at this. It's really quite extraordinary. It's really transparent about what democracy promotion means to the American political class and media.
So 3 times, 2009, 2013, and just in the last few months, Russia went to the U.S. government and said, let's create a new Geneva Protocol, Geneva Convention for cyber warfare, and agreed to stop meddling in each other's domestic political affairs. All 3 times, including again just in the last few months, the U.S. has said no for 2 primary reasons. One, they argued that you could not reliably attribute any cyber attack to any one government, except I guess in Russia when they claim that in the last year when they claim that
anything you don't like is Russia related.
Right. The other reason is because, and I will quote here, a second senior State Department official said any potential gains would come at too high a cost. We would have to give up democracy promotion, quote unquote, in Russia, meddling, which we are not willing to do.
So let's take apart. Let's democracy promotion. What does that really mean?
Okay, democracy promotion is the way the United States conducts its foreign policy against its competitors in various regions of the world, including Russia. So
Saudi Arabia?
So what against its competitors? Saudi
so
Arabia
it doesn't
is not a
promote
competitor.
Democracy in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly. It promotes.
Well, you don't have to meddle in that democracy.
It doesn't meddle. It doesn't usually meddle, and I say usually meddle, that way, in the affairs of its allies. It meddles in their affairs in a different way. But as far as the affairs of countries, Washington considers its competitors, geopolitical competitors or adversaries. It uses so-called orange revolutions. It uses public dissent. It intervenes in the internal affairs of these countries.
Well, and it throws a lot of cash
in a
at
very
it,
crude
too.
manner. So it's not surprising that on each and every one of these occasions when Russia offered the U.S. to join this agreement to not do it anymore, the U.S. refused, because if it signed an agreement like that, the United States would lose one of its most important tools of conducting its foreign policy, and its pressure politics.
But what I found interesting in the article is how open they are about, well, we don't want to come to an agreement with the Russians on cyber warfare because we still want to be able to interject ourselves into Russia's domestic affairs. It's very. There are officials saying this openly. They're saying exactly what they're doing. So that means the U.S. has the moral right to meddle in the other countries around the world, but no one has the right to meddle inside of American politics here. The hypocrisy stinks to high heaven.
If they even have meddled. I mean, the whole thing is laughable to even consider that Russia was able to meddle in the U.S. elections. But, I mean, I think you're just going to see this play out country after country. I mean, we know that the U.S., that Obama was actively pushing to campaign against Netanyahu in Israel. He was open about it. We know that the U.S. has invested $700,000 USD in campaigns against Orban in Hungary. So I mean, they're very open about meddling in elections.
No, they were open. They were against Brexit in the UK.
Carnegie Mellon researchers, 81 times between World War II and 2000, not even the last 17 years, that the U.S. meddled in other countries.
American exceptionalism is a religious belief.
Supremacist.
Yes, and if you believe it, then in that worldview, the U.S. is always right, and other nations are not. So the United States can do whatever it feels necessary in other countries, but nobody else can do that in the U.S.
What's really interesting to me, and this is what we've seen since the presidential election in the U.S., Alex, is that they're using these tactics of meddling in foreign countries, trying to change political outcomes. They've taken that same playbook and they're using it against Donald Trump in the U.S. itself. We've seen all of these tactics played out abroad. Now they're being brought to the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing. I mean, this week was an amazing week as far as revelations as to what's been going on behind the scenes at the FBI and with the Flynn case. And you're seeing Mueller's whole team is a team of partisan lawyers. Each and every single one of them, if you take them down the list one by one, has donated to the Clinton campaign, is actively a supporter of the Clinton campaign. The man that interviewed Huma Abedin and Cheryl Mills and let them off the hook for taking classified emails, for destroying classified emails, for lying to the FBI, was the same man that interviewed Flynn. He was sending text messages to his mistress about how much he hates Trump. And you're seeing all this play out in the FBI.
And he was the one who opened the Russia meddling case in the FBI in 2016.
And you're seeing this whole playbook being directed right at the Trump administration. Meanwhile, you see the U.S. taking this playbook and directing it at just about every other country there is, meddling in their internal affairs.
The most dangerous thing that we've learned through all of this, the so-called Russiagate thing, is that you have a deep state, you have the Department of Justice, you have the FBI, probably many, many more, intensely politicized. This is what the definition, gentlemen, of what we used to say is a banana republic.
Don't forget the media.
No, of course. Okay, the media.
Russiagate in a nutshell. Foreign policy this week. The neocon Max Boot. Big block headlines. Donald Trump is guilty. Subtitle. The only remaining question is what exactly he's guilty of. Moon of Alabama helped me out with a quote here. Carol Lewis, Alice in Wonderland. No, no, said the Queen. Sentence first, verdict afterwards. Stuff and nonsense, said Alice loudly. The idea of having the sentence first. Hold your tongues, said the Queen. I won't, said Alice. Off with her head, the Queen shouted. Off with Trump's head.
That's exactly what is happening right now. The entire. But see, for me, Victor, it's either you really drain the swamp. I mean, you really look how far the rot has gone, because it's a state within a state now, and there's no policing it. And this is what I think is, and I keep saying on this program, the media, the more they go after Trump, and you can go after Trump for a lot of really good reasons, I think, okay? But they're throwing institutions and ultimately themselves as well, and the trust that people have in public institutions.
You know, the degradation of the American political system is so swift and so deep that, in fact, the political lingo that we used to use for states like Turkey and others, the deep state, that phrase is now used by the American president.
No,
it's used by
Mark
the American
and I noticed
press.
this. It was December of last year, where all of a sudden in the New York Times they start saying in bold letters "deep state," and before that,
even they were Max Fisher at New York Times was denying a deep state exists.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't look over here, nothing to see. Okay.
And once that degradation of the political system starts, it's very, very difficult to bring it back to where it was before. So the systemic problems in the American system, in American politics, are so deep, so ingrained, that there is no way out, no good way out of this.
The irony is that the FBI was tasked with investigating corruption and collusion in the Trump administration, and what did they find? Corruption and collusion in the FBI.
Yeah. On that very depressing note, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for this extended version of Crosstalk. Remember, Crosstalk rules.